You guys gave the synonyms. Last week you gave the synonyms and antonyms assessment. And so I went online and looked at your OneDrive. And so in Miss Townsend's class, so it was Cesar, Samuel, Summer, Maurice, and Tristan. You also had a mastery percentage of 82%.
Hey!
And then a class average of 86%. In Dykstra, it was Jack, Ashley, Colton. You had a mastery of 82%, so even. And then class average of 89%. And then Kennedy, it was a Rondi, Kylie, Leslie. You had a mastery percentage of 81%, so aligned, and class average of 89%. So you guys were all aligned with each other, which is fantastic. And so our ESOL students were Cesar, Tristan, Rondi, Leslie, and Ashley. And our SPED students that struggled were Tristan, Maurice, and Summer. So then on your assessment that you gave, what did you feel like they did well with?
They actually understood the vocabulary of what is a synonym, an antonym, and a homophone. They seem to be able to differentiate between the three.
Yeah. And I can say that the word ajar, which we hadn't taught that, they were able to use go above the sentence and below the sentence to figure out what ajar meant. So they were able to use those strategies that were taught.
Prior knowledge.
Like if you don't know what, if you don't know what it means, go above and below the sentence. Good. So they were able to do that. And a lot of kids, because I thought that was going to be one that a lot of missed, but no, they actually did pretty well on that question.
It was hard too, because one of them was closed.
Yeah.
Which technically you could fit in that sentence and it still worked, but they had to take the understanding. We talked about, like, what is the passage talking about? It's talking about this guy that comes in your house and he messes it up. So if he leaves the door closed, would that make sense? Because that's kind of a nice thing, isn't it?
Yeah.
So we talked through that one.
Yeah. They were able to use their strategies for sure. I saw a lot of highlights.
It's my lower readers that did not do well, and it was because of the vocabulary, like the word mend or weather, but WHETHER, weather. They couldn't pronounce it, so fluency impacted those kids.
No, the one that has mend on it.
Yeah.
This one.
If they can't read the word, they can't really figure out.
That's what my kids struggle with. They're
Okay.
like they're the same. I'm like, yes they are, but you need to know which one is spelled correctly.
I can tell you too, like the ones that struggled, they would say on like one synonym question they'd get right. What is a synonym for silly? And they'd get funny. And then you'd ask them what a synonym for something else is, and they would choose antonym. So they weren't really secure in they weren't sure in what everything meant. They knew something meant opposite, something meant the same, and something meant same meaning, but you know what I mean? But they didn't know.
They didn't use it consistently.
No.
Mine all messed up on that first word, mend, M-E-N-D, because the choice for the synonym, it was a synonym for break, and it was fix, mend, split, or repair, and they just didn't make the connection between splitting something and breaking it.
Yeah.
So they chose the word they didn't know.
Yeah.
They chose
Yeah.
mend.
But all the other three would have been synonyms, right?
Yeah.
But overall, they did. I think they were more successful than they were last year on it, so that was good.
Yeah,
That was
they
a
did.
positive thing.
Yeah.
I think, those are good class averages and good mastery. So then in terms of remediating, like what will you guys do for our students that struggle?
Well, it's actually cool because we're doing context clues now.
Yeah.
It's spiraled back through in this this unit.
It sure did, because those are one of the 5 things that you have to know for context clues. So if you don't know the synonym, how are you going to know what the word...
Yeah, the synonym and antonym.
Yeah, so you have to use synonym and antonym to help you with context clues. So they're able to dive back into it.
Like if you don't know what that word means, can you think of another word that would make sense in
In
a
that
sentence?
sentence,
And that
yeah.
word happens to be a synonym.
Yeah.
Okay. So I said working on context clues now. So this week is also helping as one strategy is synonym and antonym.
I made some flashcards where it was the word synonym and then the actual definition. And they had to match the definition with the word and then the actual so it's like a 3-part.
I brought you guys
The word
these.
synonym, definition for synonym, and then give me some synonym for the word that was shown. You know what I mean? That was a lot.
Yeah.
But
So because I extended my CFA a little bit by accident,
Yeah.
oh yeah.
mine was a little bit longer than theirs. There was a question that my entire class missed, except for Anna Sophia, on there, and there.
It's hard.
So I spent,
TEI.
yeah, it was a TEI question too, but they trashed it. So I pulled a lesson of there, and there off of the computer to do. We spent 15 minutes doing it today
For the homophone.
for our homophones, yeah, because none of them could differentiate between their,
I told them, I said, hey,
Ew,
look,
I had
a
stopped
lot
that
of adults
before.
still can't even
No,
do this.
adults
which
can't
is-
with the yours.
It's embarrassing.
Okay, so then like cause some were rather low, some were just on the cusp. So like Maurice, like he was in the low 70s, which is pretty good.
Yeah, he has everything.
There was only 15 questions too, so that, it was a shorter.
Caesar got a 60, and that was because he was just inconsistent of what it meant each time. You know what I mean?
So then like
Summer.
so to remediate that, it's really just exposure to more words.
Exactly, and that's why I give him the flat, but see, that's
And
the thing.
vocabulary too, she said he wasn't mixing them up, what
Yeah.
is synonym answer.
So if you know it on number 2, but you don't know it on number 4, that means you did not get it for the 5 days. Not
That's just a
5.
good guess.
2 weeks. Yeah,
Trying
2
to-
weeks that we did it, or what have you. You know what I
Since
mean?
that test, Catherine, I don't know, Stacy got to tell you, we increased Summer's time.
Oh yeah.
So Shakira and I got together, we did an amendment, I called Mom, so I'm
Okay.
seeing her 45 minutes every day now
Okay.
with my 5th graders, just to basically to get her work done and extra support.
Okay.
So hopefully, maybe that'll help. I don't know what her percentage
Yeah,
was.
because I was telling
It was
I was
low.
telling Judy that her she
She's
got
right.
a 66.
Her reading,
I
her
told-
writing is just atrocious.
I told Judy, I said, listen, like, we're past the whole behavior thing.
Yeah. It's-
Like, you know, she's just gonna be who she is.
Right.
At this point, it's academic. Like, I just
Yeah.
need to know, I don't care if you act silly, you
I
just
agree.
need to be
Yeah.
able to do
So
the work.
hopefully this will help. It's
I
every
agree.
day.
Alright, that's a good idea.
So
Very
she's
line with
doing
her.
the one-on-one stuff.
So then are there any skills that you guys want to include on the next assessment of spiral?
Yeah, I was gonna throw some,
Yeah.
maybe like one of each in there,
I would say.
again.
Okay,
I think it's important to continue including the ones that require more than one answer.
okay. Alright, so then we're gonna switch
Just
to,
sometimes I get caught up on a synonym is 2 words, I'm like, there could be a
Noun.
group of words that mean the same thing.
Yeah, it can
They
be.
kept saying that one, so let's go with that.
Like all of the synonyms
Oh.
that, yeah.
okay. So then for next week, cause you've been doing context clues, and so then next week, does it continue?
We're doing summarizing, but I'm also in the independent practice putting continuing context clues based on they're taking an assessment on Friday, kind of
Okay.
like to gauge where we're at.
So then
This Friday?
for summarizing, are we gonna, it's a nonfiction text?
Nonfiction and fiction.
Okay. So they have to.
So it's writing and reading standards.
So the student will summarize major points found in nonfiction. The student will show comprehension of story elements. So should I add up here and fiction?
So the actual standard is
Uh-huh.
only with fiction, but when it comes to writing, it's incorporating. I'm sorry, it's only in nonfiction. But when it comes to
Really?
writing, it's incorporating fiction because they're having to retell,
Okay.
you know, what
So we'll
was
just,
said, and those are all including the story elements.
so we'll just add that. Then you also have the student will write a clear topic sentence focusing on the main idea and write a paragraph on the same topic.
Yep.
So then some of the questions would be, what information should be included in a summary of fictional text? What information should be included in a nonfiction text? What sentence should be added in the summary section? So show forward.
Or like what? Oh, okay. I wanted to show you this quick before we
Okay.
get started because I got really excited about it. You guys might not feel the same. But I've been looking for. Oh, how do you do this?
We've already
Control
done
C.
these.
What?
You have to hit
I was
OK
looking for
first.
this, benchmark ones that go along with summarizing, but I think I've already done Circus Marcus.
No.
I've been like
Yeah.
wanting to
Yeah.
find
Yeah.
something that they could do
Measuring
each
time.
day for like just 10 minutes.
Oh, uh-huh.
That kind of hits all of the standards, but it's constructed response, so the rigor is a little bit more difficult than just giving them passages with multiple choice all the time. But we have to purchase it.
Okay.
What it is it's like a passage each day. I think it said it's from grades
3, 4, 5.
3 to 5. So my higher, you can differentiate it too.
Like all together is 3, 4, 5?
Yeah. So there's like 260 passages though, or something.
Oh.
So, and it hits all of our standards. Every day asks a couple different questions.
Oh,
So it's a
on
short
purpose,
passage. There's your
evidence.
context clue or vocabulary question. Here is supporting details, author's purpose, asking and answering questions.
Oh,
Then the
okay.
next day is
Summarizing.
moral, summarize, asking, answering questions, genre, and each day has like different, but it's only about 4 questions each day.
Yeah.
So I was wondering if that's something we
That's
can
a good
purchase
idea.
for the grade
And
level.
it's a variety of texts.
Yeah, fiction and nonfiction.
Are there
so there's
any-
like the gorilla and the monkey, and then there's some nonfiction with text features
Same thing,
included,
yeah.
Are there
and it shows you all of the standards.
I wonder if there are any like poetry and then functional text.
See that I can only see as much as
They
it
won't
gave
give you
me
too
in
much
the
if you don't buy it.
preview. But like ice cream in a baggie, I would guess that that's probably a functional
Yeah,
text.
ice cream
And then it also includes some
Graphic organizers.
graphic organizers for the paired passages. But I thought that might be something good for us to just be doing one a day. I mean, even with your core extension, you get to be good.
So how much is it?
It's $24, but
Oh,
once you
well,
buy it for one person, you can share it with everybody.
Alright, well then let's do that. So then, Erica did it for 5th grade, we purchased some like science stuff.
Yeah.
So, if you just give her what it is, and then we'll figure out how she can
Okay.
purchase it.
Okay,
Good
cool.
idea.
Yeah, I came across that. I got really excited.
Cross out, show board.
She said yes.
Okay,
Okay, so to the plans.
so, alright, so then those are the essential questions that they've gotta be, that
Yeah.
they should be able to do. So then if we look at.
Wait.
Yes.
Check it out.
She got pictures.
And now you did it. Nice. It's only 3 days worth.
I got pictures.
That's why, it's a 3-day week.
See, I was like, instead
You
of
guys are
copying
funny.
it like I've been doing, I'm just then you'll have it.
Yay. Okay, go ahead.
Okay,
I love
so-
it.
Alright, so we don't have school
Don't get
Monday and
excited, guys.
Friday.
It's not gonna happen every week.
Because it's only a 3-day week.
So there's no school Monday. We're starting summarizing with fictional text. So the first day you're introducing the somebody wanted but so strategy. One thing that I noticed though, because I was starting to pull passages, we have to be careful that there's not always going to be necessarily like a problem. There were some
It won't
paragraphs
be.
I was looking at.
There won't be.
So that's a conversation to have, but it's
Yeah.
just kind of a warm up for fiction. Which is really, because there's no standard for summarizing fiction, it is story elements. So it's kind of spiraling back through that. So doing the chart, and then what I liked is you teach them how to color code each one. Sparks, can you scroll down?
Yeah.
So what you do is you read a short story together, like the Three Little Pigs.
Yeah.
You go through and you color code each thing in the story, underlining it. So together you read the Three Little Pigs. You guys find the somebodies together, you underline them in
Yeah.
red. You
Yeah.
find a sentence that shows the wanted, and you color code it. And then their group practice is going to be doing the same thing with a buddy, but with two other short passages.
Okay. Do you already know what those passages?
So I lost my. I thought that I had it, and I'm panicking because I cannot
Yeah,
find
she's
it.
looking for this book. She's
It's-
looking for this book.
The book I used to use for
Uh-oh.
homework, and it was like paired passages, fiction and nonfiction. I can't find it anywhere.
That's the second time you lost that this year.
Yeah, it's really upsetting. So I have,
It's somewhere.
I have these
The
are like
benchmarks,
short ones from Benchmarks. So like knitting circle. I was gonna copy them front to back for this day, and they work together to color code those different story elements, which they'll then build into a summary.
Yeah.
So I'll have those copied for
So
you
it was
guys, but
knitting
they're going to be
circle?
short. One was knitting circle, and just say knitting circle and the secret.
Okay.
Oh, I like your secret.
They're ones they might have read already too, so there'll be something to go off of. The independent practice.
Yes.
Okay, I want to give them a reading passage to do next week as practice. That is story elements, because that's tied in with summarizing.
Okay.
For them to be practicing their test taking, because I don't feel like I've been doing enough of that other than testing them in class.
Okay, a reading passage on.
Story elements. So because that ties in with summarizing, because you're finding the characters, you're finding the problem, you're finding the solution.
So why? Okay. So they're doing a reading passage. This is together. That's their buddy.
This is with a buddy. And then
they
the
gotta go
independent,
back and read something else.
yeah, the
by
independent practice is separate from this because we're going to build off of it the next day. So the first day is just identifying those parts of the summary in
Using
in a
somebody but
passage.
wanted but so.
Yeah. Because then what they're doing the next day,
Do we have a passage for them to do independently?
I have one, yeah.
What is
It's
that?
I don't have the name of it. It's an
Okay.
IA passage. It's,
Okay.
Unless you, because then we're moving into them actually like identifying it, but then creating a paragraph summary the next day.
So
I would
guess-
like for them to somehow see something, like make something or do like in order for you to. I don't know.
Because I have
don't
graphic
know
organizers and things too.
Yeah. Okay.
But they have to know what
I mean,
what
other than just underlining.
Yeah.
yeah, they have to know what the important information is in the passage though
Yeah,
to be able to
to
build
go.
their summary. So let's identify the key points that we need to include.
Okay.
Which is kind of where I went with it the next day. But if you want to take it there on Monday, I have graphic organizers and things for you
No,
to
no,
do
no.
that.
Go ahead.
If you want to combine the 2 days. I actually found that on like a first grade thing. I was like, I think this like might help them identify what's important and what's not.
Just
To like,
break the ice. that type of
breaking it
stuff.
down.
What about stuff that we used last year was kind of baby chicken.
yeah.
We used it and it worked.
Yeah, those are the kind of graphic organizers I have for the
Okay.
next day.
And then you
I
had
don't
for,
think we need to spend a whole
for the read to self, you had respond to what is a summary and what information is included in a summary.
That's a
what
guiding
you-
question.
Yeah, that's what
Yeah.
you're reading.
Okay.
Yeah. So what information should be included in a fictional summary? So then for Tuesday,
So hold on, there's this,
What is that?
what is a summary, what is not a summary?
I saw that on Teachers Pay Teachers and I couldn't find it again. What does it look like on the back?
Nothing.
Nothing.
Oh, okay, so that could, I mean, you could use that first day too. What is
What is
the
summary? What's not one? That way you can
Yeah.
identify.
I found
'Cause it's
another
not a
one too
retell.
that was
We always
telling
do,
the
like,
difference.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so it's not a retell, but it's a summary.
I saw, yeah, there's another anchor chart too.
And you can have
um,
some. You could do small little paragraphs and stuff too. Be able to
That
identify
is,
what
that's what I wanted to do. I couldn't find anything like it, and to do it, I'd have to create it all, like
Or
write
even,
scrappy and
or even
paragraphs.
have like little, small little, something on the desk or around, and then they could be is paragraph number one.
Is
a
that
summary,
retelling or is it a summary?
Yeah.
That's a good idea.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then they can fill it out on that little sheet that she just had. Why is paragraph one not? Paragraph one is not.
When
summary
would you wanna
because-
do that?
Well, I don't know, I'm just, I'm
Well, I
brainstorming.
had to find that. I was looking for something like
They would
that,
have to know
and I
the difference
couldn't.
first,
Uh-huh.
so maybe day 3.
Okay.
Here, and it's a pass that this is fiction. Remember I said most of my stuff is nonfiction, this
Yeah.
is fiction.
But you already have the
Versus-
graphic organizers on that, we're going ahead of you.
Okay. All right. Tuesday is an interactive read aloud. So I gave you guys this from my interactive read aloud book.
Yes.
So I circled the skill. It's other books that are good to be used for that.
You gonna give us one of those every week?
I can.
Because I threw the one you gave us this week.
Kind of
Okay.
even-
Because
Well,
it
that
was
doesn't
for-
apply to this.
I know,
This is
but it's the
summary.
same, is that the same page? Does it have the context clues on there?
No, but you can come borrow my
Oh,
book.
okay, I got you.
It's in your book.
Yeah, it is in my book, but it's,
She'd
for
have
me
to
to
find.
find.
It's nice when she
Let's
gives
just
us a
keep
Okay. So